Hello, sports fans. We are ready for NFL picks for week number 2 in the league where they play. I said in the league where they play. In the league where they play. For pay! And let's get right to it. Coming off a pretty decent week last week, about 11-5 the way I picked the games. We're just getting warmed up. Long way to go. I hit, my peak in mid to late October. Let's start in week number 2. Let's go out to San Francisco with the San Francisco 49ers on -5.5 against the Detroit Lions. San Francisco 0-1, lost to Minnesota, fell behind early in this game, tried to come back, but that Minnesota defense was too tough, picked off Garoppolo a bunch of times, so San Francisco falls on the road. They come back home this week, and they play the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, who are 0-1, who set football back 2,000 years last night as they got ambushed by the New York Jets, demolished by the New York Jets, embarrassed by the New York Jets, in their own building, in the coach's debut, after they picked off the opening pass by Donald and ran it back for a touchdown. The Detroit Lions could not have played a worse game. They were as bad as you can be in all aspects of the game. They were outcoached. They were outworked. Their defense was absolutely atrocious. Their special teams was absolutely horrible. Can you cover a punt, please? They couldn't get the running game going. And Matthew Stafford, I don't want to put this all on him. He can have all these great stats, you want. He throws for this many yards, this many touchdowns. How many playoff wins does he have? I am shocked how bad the Lions. And then Matt Patricia, the new coach, comes over from New England. He's talking about details the whole preseason. This ain't New England. This ain't New England. You don't have Brady anymore. He's sitting there like this on the sidelines the whole time, like King Tut with that stupid pencil in his ear. I mean, just clueless on the sidelines. The Jets are running back punts. They're running back interceptions. The Lions were totally humiliated at home. And there's Patricia, like King Tut, like this, sitting on the sidelines with that dumb pencil in his ear with no reaction whatsoever. And he's going to talk to me about details? This was a complete breakdown of epic proportions. I mean, this was embarrassing. You know what's so funny about the Lions? They don't even fit in Detroit. Detroit is such a blue-collar city. They got such blue-collar teams with the Red Wings and the Pistons and the Tigers. And then you got the Lions, who can never get out of their own way. It's almost like they don't fit in that city. And the fans, the Lion fans know it. They are always waiting for the bottom to drop out. And it usually always does. They showed a shot in the stands yesterday. This girl had a Lions jersey on. And after the Jets ran back, their fourth kick return and, their second interception and everything else, she actually made a sign and said, "Go Jets." I mean, they converted her in one night. She couldn't wait to get off the Lion bandwagon. Detroit doesn't even fit. The Lions don't even fit in Detroit. They are like the outcasts of that city. They always find a way to muck it up. They were supposed to have a really good team this year. They have the veteran quarterback, new coach, and that's what they lay on you last night? A complete stink bomb? Absolutely atrocious job by the Detroit Lions. Embarrassing job by the Detroit Lions. Hang your head in shame. That's the effort you come out with in week 1 on Monday night with a new coach? I mean, I know the Jets are improved and they look good. We'll get to them later. They're not the 85 Bears. And the Lions did run back the opening interception. And at one point the game was 17-17 in the third quarter. And the Jets scored 31 unanswered points in the third quarter on the road. On the road. The Jets last year didn't score 31 points in 5 games. 31 points in the third quarter? The Jets? Are you kidding me? I mean, what a disgrace by the Lions. Embarrassing. They should refund those fans their money back. What a disgrace. What do you think I'm picking here? I think the Niners are going to be a decent team. They're coming home off a tough loss to Minnesota. Detroit shows me nothing. Nothing last night. Spread went from 3.5 to 5.5 after last night. Listen, I think San Francisco's going to roll in this game. Maybe move the line to a teaser and get them in the pick 'em. San Francisco's going to win this game. The Lions, I'm sure they'll talk all week about improving and getting things, tightened up. There's too many holes here to fix. Short week going out to San Francisco. I think the Niners are going to bamboozle the Lions this week. The Lions, ouch. And Matt Patricia, stop standing on the sidelines like Buddha, like this with that stupid pencil in your ear with no reaction talking about details. This ain't New England. You don't have Tom Brady and Belichick anymore. Get it together. Niners roll. That's pick number 1. All right, pick number 2. Let's go to the Thursday game. And I can't stand Thursday games. I know a lot of you guys love Thursday games. I can't stand it. I can't stand the short week. The players don't like it. The coaches don't like it. It's a big advantage to the home team. But anyway, I got to live with it. The Baltimore Ravens on the road, -1 at Cincinnati in the jungle. The Ravens 1-0 just destroyed the Bills. I'll get to the Bills later in a second. I mean, the Bills were up there with the Lions as far as performance over the weekend. Cincinnati 1-0 came storming back and beat Indianapolis. This is a division game. This is a very strange game. How good is Baltimore? Hard to tell off of last week when they just destroyed a bad Buffalo team. How good is Buffalo? And Cincinnati, they beat Indianapolis, but we know the Colts aren't any good, even with Luck back, so very tricky game here. If I had to pick this game, to me this is a throwout. If I had to pick it, I'd move the line to 7 and take Cincinnati, saying this is going to be a close game. Home teams on Thursday night usually have an advantage. I think Cincinnati will be all fired up at home for their home opener. I don't think Baltimore's as good as they showed last week, so I think this game will be close. So to me, move the line to 7, take the Bengals if you have to. Close game there. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3, let's go down to D.C., where Washington is -5.5 against Indianapolis. I just talked about Indianapolis. They're 0-1, lost to Cincinnati. Luck was back. Colts had a chance to win this game, fumbled late. Washington 1-0, and they destroyed Arizona. I'll tell you, Detroit, Buffalo, and Arizona, you got a collection there. You got a collection of performances there. But Washington gets off to a good start. Listen, I got to like Washington here. I mean, you want to move the line to pick them in a 2-team teaser, that's fine with me. Washington, their home opener. The Colts don't look that good at all to me. Luck, I know, is back. He gives you a chance, but the Colts look like they have a lot of holes. They lost to the Bengals at home. Now they got to go on the road. Washington looked pretty solid last week. They got the Smith at quarterback now. I think Washington's better than the Colts. I like Washington there, whether it's straight up or in a teaser where you get them at pick 'em. So I'll take Washington. That is pick number 3. Pick number 4, let's go down to Atlanta. Hotlanta. The Atlanta Falcons are -5 against the Carolina Panthers. Atlanta 0-1, lost to Philadelphia. Can Atlanta please finish a game? Can they please finish a game against a top quality team? They blow the Super Bowl 2 years ago because they couldn't finish. They couldn't finish against the Eagles last year when they're inside the 10. And they couldn't finish again here when they're right down, near the goal line, and they run again 4 bad plays. Can you give yourself a chance to win the game and not throw the ball out of bounds every time? Atlanta's close, but they have to finish. And it's not a terrible loss losing at Philadelphia, but Atlanta has big aspirations. That could cost them in the grand scheme of things as far as home field. So that was not a good loss for Atlanta. They could have easily won that game. What a sloppy game last week, Thursday night. What a mess. 1,000 penalties. Ugly. Ugly. But anyway, this is a very tough game, division game. Carolina beat Dallas. Dallas, they look bad as well. Keep an eye on Olsen this week. Don't know if he's going to play. I got to go with Atlanta here. Coming home off a loss, long week. Olsen might not play. I really don't think Atlanta can afford to go to 0-2. They're usually good in their building. Carolina, they did beat Dallas. but they didn't look all that great. They won 16-8. They did deserve to win the game. Dallas looked atrocious as well. But I gotta like Atlanta here. It's a tough game. I'd probably move the line to pick them in a two-team teaser and take Atlanta straight up, or money line, something like that. I think Atlanta will get it done. It's a very tough game, though. These division games are very tough. But I will lean Atlanta here. Don't want to go to 0-2 right off the bat, Atlanta. I'll take Atlanta. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, where the Minnesota Vikings are now -1.5 against the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay opened as a 1.5-point favorite, but because Rodgers is hurt, this line has moved. Now, I think Rodgers is going to play. He got back in the game last week. You heard him after the game. He said he's going to play. I think Rodgers will play. I'm sure he's a little banged up. And how about Rodgers coming up with that miracle comeback? I mean, against the Bears. The Bears got to be sick. Lose to Green Bay again. But so Green Bay 1-0. Big comeback against Chicago. Minnesota, nice solid win against San Francisco. Defense did the job. You know they're going to be good. So this is another division game early in the season. Very tough game. Listen, I liked Minnesota's performance a lot better than Green Bay's last week. I think Green Bay was lucky to win. They can't rely on Rodgers to do everything. And that's what it always seems to come down to for Green Bay. And they get away with that a lot. Minnesota, though, has a ferocious defense. And if Rodgers has very little mobility, I know the game's in Lambeau. I don't like picking against Green Bay at home much. But that Minnesota defense is ferocious. This is a very tough spot for Green Bay. They had the miracle comeback against Chicago. They were outplayed a lot of that game. Now you got to play the Vikings. They are a rough, tough customer. I like the Vikings in this spot. Rodgers' lack of mobility, and I think he will play, but I don't think he's going to be 100% against this Minnesota defense that's asking for trouble. I like the Vikings here. Never easy picking against Green Bay and Lambeau. I think the Vikings right now, this is a better spot for them. Green Bay, they got to work some kinks out too. They were very unimpressive for a lot of that game, and Rodgers just pulled a Houdini act, out at the end. He bailed out Matthews, who had that stupid roughing the passer play at the end of the game. What was he thinking? I like Minnesota in this spot. I'll take the Vikings there. That is pick number 5. Pick number 6, let's go up to Buffalo with the LA Chargers are -7 against the Buffalo Bills. We got a lot to cover here. Chargers 0-1, lost to Kansas City. What else is new? What else is new? What else is new? What else is new with the LA Chargers? They continue to beat themselves. They always lose to the Chiefs. Can never beat the Chiefs. They continue to have no home field advantage in that StubHub Center. Half the crowd was red. Are there any Charger fans out there? Are there any in San Diego? Are there any in LA? They're moving into a new stadium. Is anyone going to go to the game? Are there any Charger fans out there? The Chargers continue to, and I know Bosa was hurt and he missed the game. I thought he would play. He was out. That was a big loss. They continue to muck up games, find ways to give away games. The first punt of the game for the Chargers, bink, punt return for Kansas City, touchdown. The Chargers missed field goals. They botched punts. They dropped at least 3 touchdown passes, by the way, as well. Those are the type of things that have been going on with the Chargers year after year after year with Phillip Rivers. The whole Phillip Rivers era has been about mistakes, giveaways, and just botching up games no matter who the coach is. It's the same old story with the Chargers. They cannot get out of their own way. They have a lot of talent, but they always make ridiculous mistakes. They drop 3 touchdown passes, they miss a field goal, they drop a punt, they give up a punt return. It's the same old story with them. They have a lot of talent, but they cannot get it together. And it's always Phillip Rivers at the end of the game trying to frenetic comeback, and he's always got that baffled look on his face at the end of the game that he didn't get a pass interference call. Like, what happened? How did we lose again? And I don't want to blame it all on him. Believe me, he's a very good quarterback. The Chargers just can't get out of their own way. My goodness, the best player on the field for the Chiefs. I mean, they can't cover him. I mean, my goodness, put 2 guys on him. Anyway, Chargers -7 against Buffalo. And now the Bills. 0-1 just got demolition by the Ravens. I mean, I couldn't believe the performance by the Bills. I thought the rookie was going to start, by the way. He came in, but he didn't start. Peterman started, and is it just me, or is it every time Peterman in the game, the Bills lose 50-10? Is it just me? It just feels like that. I've seen enough of Peterman. I don't know why the Bills traded McCarron. I would have went with him. Who knows about this rookie? I mean, who knows about him? I mean, they let the other Taylor go to Cleveland. I don't know what the Bills are doing. They had a decent year last year. They are a mess right now. Chargers are 7 on the road. Point favorite on the road. That tells you all you need to know. I'm going to move their line down to 1 and take the Chargers. I know I'm asking for it because the Chargers are capable of blowing the game to anyone. But how in the world could you take Buffalo after last week? And I know those fans are great and they're loyal and they're always there and they'll be rowdy. I can't take Buffalo after what I saw last week. Chargers, I'll move the line to 1. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7. Let's go to Nashville, Tennessee. This game is actually off the board right now because of the injuries. Houston opened up as a 2.5-point favorite. Now it's off the board. Houston loses to New England. Tennessee loses to Miami with all those delays. Mariota got hurt again. We don't know if he's going to play. Watson a little banged up. Don't know if he's going to play. So who knows? I mean, I'm going to go, if I had to pick, I'd say Houston wins. I'd say Watson plays and Mariota doesn't. I mean, if the original line was 2.5 and both quarterbacks played, I was going to move it to 8.5 and take Tennessee. Division game should be close, but I don't know what to make of this game. I really don't. Too many uncertainties. The quarterbacks are both hurt. So let's move on from that game. You just don't know right now. All right, let's go to the Steel City in Pittsburgh. With the Pittsburgh Steelers a -5 against the Kansas City Chiefs. How about the Chiefs? 1-0, beat the Chargers on the road. The young quarterback Mahomes looks solid. Looks good. Great arm. Incredible arm. I was really impressed by Mahomes. I know he has a lot of talent, but week 1 on the road, you just don't know. He looked really good. I think the Chiefs have a really good one for years to come. Chief offense looks solid. They can do some things. Can they get enough stops on defense, Kansas City? That's going to be the key for them. But the quarterback looks like a stud. He was poised. He was making all the throws. He throws a great ball. Really impressive job by the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. Mahomes looks like a keeper. Pittsburgh tied Cleveland. Had a 21-7 lead in the fourth quarter. Had a chance to win the game in overtime. Missed a field goal. Then they were lucky after yet another turnover that Cleveland missed a field goal at the end. Pittsburgh had 6 turnovers in this game. You have 6 turnovers on the road. You're lucky to tie. What an embarrassing... And I took Cleveland, so I won that game, but what an embarrassing... Again, sloppy on the road, Pittsburgh. What did I tell you last week? They're always sloppy on the road, and I know Bell was hurt, but the backup played well, although he did have a fumble. He had a really good game. You're up 21-7 in the fourth quarter against Cleveland. Finish them off. Finish them off, Pittsburgh. They just cannot do it. It's amazing on the road. They just cannot finish these teams off. They let them back in the game all the time. They are like 2 different teams, the Steelers, homer and away. Embarrassing, Ty. 6 turnovers? Missed field goals? Blowing 21-7 leads? Oh, embarrassing. And I don't want to hear any more about Bell holding out either. The guy's complaining about money, yet he's losing $1 million a week. The Steelers offered him a huge contract. He's a running back. My goodness. Oh, he's a great player, and I love Bell. Get back to the team. As far as this game, listen, this is a tough back-to-back for Kansas City. You play in L.A., you beat the Chargers, now you got to go to Pittsburgh. And like I said, I liked a lot that Kansas City did last week. I have to think the Steelers at home are going to respond. They are usually a bully team at home. I think they will be angry. I'm going to move the line to about pick 'em. I'm going to take the Steelers to get through here. I think they're going to be able to put up some points. I think they're going to be angry after that embarrassing tie last week. Like I said, tough back-to-back for Kansas City. If Kansas City ever won this game and won these 2 games on the road, look out. Then Andy Reid would be having another one of those great regular seasons. And I like Mahomes. This is not an anti-Kansas City pick. This is more pro-Pittsburgh at home. I'll go the Steelers. That's the pick there. Next pick, let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Not too far from where I am right now, where the New York Jets are now -3 against the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins opened as a 1.5-point favorite, but because of the Jets' performance last week, they've gone to a 3.5-point favorite at home. Dolphins had a nice win against Tennessee with, what did that game take, 9 hours with all the lightning delays? I felt like we were watching the Sunday night game. The Dolphins were still playing. Nice job by the Dolphins with that win there. And what a performance by the New York Jets last night. What a performance. They fall behind 7-0. Darnold throws a pick on the first play from scrimmage, where he throws the ball across the field. And then the Jets just turn it on. Darnold played well. He was composed. He made all the throws. The Jets had attitude. They were hungry. They were pushing the lines all over the field. They would turn the ball over. The defense looked nasty. The special teams looked good. These are the New York Jets? I may have to reconsider. Sports Illustrated said they'd win 10 games. I thought they were out of their mind. They keep playing like this. I may have to reconsider. That was a very impressive win by the New York Jets. They looked like they had attitude last night. They looked like they knew they were going to win last night. Even when they fell behind, there was no panic with a rookie quarterback. The Jets' defense ate up Detroit. The special teams were awesome. The Jets were nasty last night. They were pushing the Lions all over the field. It was refreshing to see. I know the Jet fans love it. They've had nothing but misery for a long time. Now this is another one of these division games, very tough. The conservative way to play this game is move the line to 9 and take the Dolphins, thinking it's a division game. These teams always play close games. That's the conservative way to play this game, and that's probably how I would play it. But I'll tell you, the Jets were awfully impressive. They were awfully impressive last night. Let's see if they can do it 2 weeks in a row. I'd love to see a big crowd at the Meadowlands. I'd love to see the Jet fans fired up. Get into the game. I want a rowdy crowd at the Meadowlands. The Jets have had such little to cheer about lately. The fan base has had nothing to cheer about. They seem so excited now. Even the Jet fans that were in attendance last night were so happy. Let's get a big crowd at the Meadowlands. Let's get them all juiced up for this division game. Conservative way to play this game is take Miami with the 9. Think it's a close game. So that's your pick there. Next pick, let's go down to Tampa Bay, where the Philadelphia Eagles are -3 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Philadelphia 1-0, beat Atlanta again, found a way to beat Atlanta again with Foles at quarterback. How about Tampa Bay? This had to be the shock of the weekend. Tampa Bay 1-0, went into New Orleans and just dismantled the New Orleans defense with Fitzpatrick at quarterback. Was that Fitzpatrick or was that Johnny Unitas? He had an unbelievable game. Now, Fitzpatrick can give you those type of games. The problem is he's never consistent enough. He'll have a great game, then he'll come back and he'll throw, for 90 yards. To me, he's not a starting quarterback. You can't win a Super Bowl with him. He's a backup. He can fill in, kind of like Keenum. We'll get to him soon. But he's not a guy I think can take you to the promised land, but he doesn't have to. With Tampa Bay, they're going to get Winston back. Fitzpatrick's going to be a backup, but he played great. The Tampa Bay offense was amazing. The Saint defense was as bad as you can get. So off of that, I'm going to move the line to 9. Tampa Bay home opener. Fitzpatrick played well. I think they're going to be all riled up. I think they can keep the game close. I love taking the underdogs and the home field in these teasers because now you get you get a lot of points, like 9 here, and you get the home field. So I love doing that. Usually pays off for me. So I'll take a chance here with Tampa Bay. They showed me enough that they can at least hang in the game. I think Philly probably will win, but I think it'll be a little closer than most people think. So I'll take Tampa Bay in a teaser -9. Speaking of New Orleans, let's go down to New Orleans, the Big Easy, the Superdome. Who dat? With the New Orleans Saints on -8.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland, give them credit. They came back and tied Pittsburgh after being down 21-7. They could have easily won the game at the end. Give Cleveland credit for battling. I think they are a little improved this year, the Browns. The Saints, oh my goodness. You score 40 points in your building and you still lose to a team with a backup quarterback. The Saint defense left off right where it left off in the game against Minnesota in the playoffs last year on the last play of the game. We remember that one, right? I guess in the offseason they didn't make any changes. What a terrible defensive effort by the Saints. 48 points in your building to the backup quarterback of Tampa Bay. Are you kidding me? Big plays all over the field. Jackson running wild. All the Tampa Bay receivers running all over the field. What an embarrassing display of football by the Saints on the defensive end. Oh my goodness, that is just atrocious. After the way they lost last year, giving up that play at the end of the game to Minnesota, you come back with this defensive effort in week one. Saints -8 against Cleveland. To me, the way to play this game, move it down to 2.5 and a two-team teaser and take the Saints. You got to feel they are going to respond. If they have any pride at all, they're not going to drop 2 home games in a row, to Tampa with the backup quarterback and now to Cleveland. You have to think Cleveland, New Orleans is going to show me something here. Spread's high. I'll move it to 2.5. Think New Orleans gets through. That's your next pick. Let's go out to Los Angeles where the LA Rams are -12.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. LA 1-0 came storming back in the second half to beat Oakland last night. I thought Oakland had the better of the play in the first half, but the Rams took command in the second half. The Rams look like one of the better teams in all of football. They have all the pieces. They're a very dangerous team, the Rams. And LA, please go out there and support that team. And don't tell me the tickets are high and all that. Go sit up in the nosebleed seats. I want a big crowd out there in Los Angeles this week. This team deserves your support. They have a solid team. This is a contender. Arizona 0-1, got absolutely destroyed by Washington at home. Bradford, PU, you stink. Arizona looks like one of the worst teams in football. Oh, Larry Fitzgerald, I feel sorry for you. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a long year for the Arizona Cardinals, and this is going to be a long game. This has the makings of 41-17 written all over it. The Rams should dismantle Arizona. They should score at will. I think this game is not competitive, and I think it's over at the half. The Rams, for their home opener, they should really bamboozle Arizona. I like the Rams there in a blowout. Next pick, let's go down to Jacksonville. Very interesting game here with the New England Patriots on -2 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. New England 1-0, held on and beat the Texans. Jacksonville 1-0, held on and beat the New York Giants. At the Jacksonville defense comes up big again. This is a very tough game. A very tough game. I don't like going against New England. I got through last week in the teaser going against them. I don't like to go against them 2 weeks in a row. But I'll tell you, in a 2-team teaser, moving that line to 8 and taking Jacksonville is awfully tempting to me. I get the home field. I get the 8 points. That ferocious Jacksonville defense, they're going to be all fired up down there in North Florida. They're going to want a piece of Brady for sure. I'm not saying, just like last week, I'm not saying Jacksonville actually wins the game outright, but I think this game is going to be close. I think Jacksonville is going to make it a defensive game, low scoring. That defense is solid. I'm going to take Jacksonville +8. I get the 8 points, and I get the home field to at least keep it close. So I like the Jaguars there. Let's go out to the Mile High City in Denver, where the Denver Broncos are -6 against the Oakland Raiders. Denver 1-0, held on and beat Seattle. Denver's always tough at home, you know that. The quarterback did some good things, he did some bad things. Denver put up some points. I'm not liking the way Seattle's looking, by the way. Oakland, well, they had a very good first half. I thought they had the better of the play in the first half. They got physical in the first half. They looked like they ran out of gas in the second half, though. They had no answers for the Rams. The Raider defense is a huge problem. I would have kept Mack. The Raiders don't have a great defense to begin with. Now they even have a worse defense without Mack. I thought the offense would put up more points in the second half. They did not. It was all Rams in the second half. I think Gruden will get it done. You're going to have to give him time, though, especially now they traded Mack away. You're going to have to give him a couple years here. They have the quarterback. He'll get it done on offense. Got to do some more things with that defense, but I do believe in Gruden. Give him some time, though. As far as this game, I'm going to move the line to pick them and take Denver. Denver always seems to have 2 home games to start the year, and they always seem to be 2-0. It always seems that way. It's a very hard place to play. Denver just looks more organized right now than the Raiders. Raiders short week. They had so much emotion put into that game last night. And the way it ended, very tough to go on the road now and expect to beat Denver. I'll take Denver there. That is your next pick. And we have 2 more picks to go. Let's go to Dallas, where the Dallas Cowboys are at home, -3 against the New York Giants. Giants 0-1 lost to Jacksonville. Barkley had the big run down the field, but Jacksonville had that big interception return, and Jacksonville ended up winning the game. Giants were competitive, still got to do some more things on offense. Tough to gauge because that Jacksonville defense is so tough. We'll see what the Giants can do this week against Dallas. Dallas 0-1 lost to Carolina in an ugly, messy game. Oh my goodness, Dallas. Defense looks better, especially the front. We'll see about the secondary, but the offense now, no weapons on the outside with no Bryan and no Witten. Everyone's keen on the run. Offensive line not as good as it used to be because of the injury. Prescott now, remember where Prescott was 2 years ago and where Dallas was? They were 13-3 2 years ago before they lost in the playoffs? And how things have gone down the last 2 years. My goodness, they look like a completely different team than just 2 years ago. That's how quickly things can change in the NFL. I didn't like what I saw at all from Dallas offensively. They got a lot of issues. I'm going to move the line to 9 and take the Giants. I think the Giants can do more things right now than Dallas. These games are always close. Even 2 years ago when Dallas lost just 3 games, the Giants beat them twice. So I'll take the 9, and I'll say the Giants keep it close in this division game. Keep an eye on that Dallas offense. A lot of shaky stuff on that Dallas offense right now. Not a lot of weapons. Offensive line shaky. Prescott shaky. They're keen on the run. Ugh, I didn't like what I saw at all from the Cowboys, but the defense looks a little better though. So I'm going to take the Giants there, +9 to keep it close. And the final pick, the Monday night game, the Chicago Bears, -3 against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle 0-1 lost to Denver. I'll tell you, another team, Seattle, they have steadily declined. I mean, from where they were to where they are now, it's been a steady decline. This is not the same Seattle team we saw years ago. Oh my goodness, they are a completely different team. I don't like what I see at all from them. And Chicago 0-1 found another creative way to lose to Green Bay. I mean, Chicago played such a tremendous game for most of this game and then let it slip away at the end. They got to be shaking their heads. I think Chicago, though, coming back home, I think they're going to be all riled up. They have some nice pieces, Chicago. I like the quarterback. I like the young quarterback. The defense with Mack looks solid. They did a lot of good things in that game against Green Bay. Now, coming home on Monday night, Seattle's got to come across the country. I like the Bears here. I really do. The Seattle Seahawks, steady decline. Not liking them at all. And I think the Bears could be a team on the way up. So I like Chicago there. So those are your picks for week number 2 in the NFL. I went about 11-5 in the way I called the games last week. But like I said, we're just warming up right now. I get cooking in mid-late October. We're just getting a feel for all these teams. But anyway, I hope you guys are happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. Thanks so much for all your support. I really appreciate it. I will talk to you guys next Tuesday. Enjoy the games in the league where they play for pay. Talk to you Tuesday.